Today is Tuesday, May 13th, 2025, 6 p.m. Board of Health meeting. Meeting at the first floor, meeting room 2. Then at 7:15, we'll have a joint meeting with the select board at the select board's chambers. Roll call, Christian Roman Ramirez, chair. And we present Mr. Todd Arsenal, who is our new elected member for the Board of Health. If you can present yourself, Todd.
Todd Arsenal.
Additions, deletions. I will, we will not have the reappointment of officers tonight. Mr. Lequier, reached out and he's feeling sick and he's not able to make it for tonight's meeting. So, also, we will move the public hearing continuation of the styrofoam reduction in Townsend for our next regular meeting, if possible. Other than that, we will continue on with the rest of the agenda.
You have 145 Mason Road as a new construction as additions and deletions. And in order to continue the public hearing, we're gonna have a roll call and open it up and close it like we normally do. So I'd suggest that you keep that on the meeting so we can just have a 2-minute discussion to update Todd on what's going on.
So we will do that then. We will not delete the 1.8 public hearing continuation of the styrofoam reduction in Townsend then.
Yes.
Let's go ahead and go forward with 1.2.1 with Mason Road new construction then.
Oh, right next to the recycling center.
Yeah, so this is a new construction lot at the corner of Old Turnpike Road and Mason Road. It's vacant right now. There is a gravel driveway that comes off and the concrete pad. So I'm not sure if there might have been a house there before. But they're looking to build a new house there. Put a well out in the front, and then the system will go out in the back. It's a 2,500 gallon 2-compartment tank and 2 50-foot long trenches, gravity fed. There's not really much around here, so the core farm is kind of over here, but it's quite a bit of ways away. So no real issues, no variances. It's in full compliance, so pretty straightforward.
So it's a 4-bedroom house that they're proposing and the septic system is for 4 rooms, correct?
Four bedrooms.
4 bedrooms, okay. Okay. Do you have any questions, Todd?
Full compliance, Rick?
Yeah.
I believe so.
So where's the recycling center here?
It's gonna be down here and then turn onto Greenville Road to go
Okay.
down probably another half a mile or so.
Okay. Do I get a motion to approve, the new construction on 145 Mason Road in West Townsend?
Yes. I'm sorry, say that one more time.
I submit a motion.
I submit a motion to approve sewage disposal system design for 145 Mason Road.
I second it. Also, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Yeah. Want to do that? The approval. Thanks. Thank you. Rick, I don't know how to fold it.
It's okay, you guys are down good.
Okay. Okay. For the agenda, 1.3, appointment of Harrison C. Mayer as burial agent.
Yes, that is, I believe it's a mandated through the state that you must have one.
So, yeah, I mean, typically it falls on the Board of Health by default, but most towns have their town clerk as a burial agent, so the Board of Health just needs to vote to designate, the town clerk, which would be Harrison, as the burial agent.
Okay. So I present a motion to appoint Mr. Harrison C. Mayer as the burial agent. Who seconds it?
I'll second that.
All in favor of voting, say aye. Aye. Let's go to 1.4, septic permits for review. Any other septics?
That was it, so there are none.
Okay, perfect. Let's go for 1.5, country states pool drain update.
I don't see anybody on there. I know they were supposed to come on the Zoom, so maybe if we can.
Hi, I'm on Zoom. I'm a new board member with Country Estates. My name's Bonnie. Can you hear me?
Yep, so did Anestis give you a copy of the agreement that we had drawn up?
So, the agreement, I'm sorry, I literally just joined the board. Let me see if I can find the information. He was supposed to be on the Zoom tonight.
Bonnie, if you can hold on a moment, if Rick
Yeah, I can just kind
can
of go through
give
the background of this.
So for benefit for Todd, for this is something that we've been working since last year, so that if you can, just give us a brief, synopsis, for the board, so that, Todd can catch up on what is this that we're talking about. Yes.
So this is, you know where Country Estates is on Turnpike Road. So they, have a pool there, have for quite some time. Kara from our office did the inspection of the pool to open it up for last year and realized that the main drain didn't look like it was working. Come to find out that at some point it was cemented in. So they don't have a main drain, which doesn't meet the state requirement for a public pool. And so they had applied for a variance, which is something they can do under 105 CMR 435, which is the state's pool code. And the Townsend Board of Health approved it, but in order to actually approve it, it has to go off to the Department of Public Health, and they have to approve it as well. The Department of Public Health ended up denying the variance and said that the main drain needs to be present. That's not something that they would grant a variance to. But they suggested that we allow the pool to stay open if the board could come to an agreement with Country Estates to get it replaced. And he said, it could be a number of years as long as you have an agreement in place to make sure that that gets done. And the inspection of the pool has always gone well. The water clarity has always been good. The pool chemistry has always been good. So it doesn't seem like it's an immediate danger, but I guess in order to really circulate, especially the bottom water column of the pool, you need that main drain to pull that water out and put it back on top. And so we last year had drafted an agreement in February, and then Anestis, who was the board member at the time for Country Estates, he had some personal things come up, so he kind of stepped out, and now we're just kind of getting back to it right now. But we had drawn up a plan, which kind of was agreed to, at least verbally, that they would replace that main drain and get it repaired within, I believe it was 5 years.
So what you're saying is that the process is gonna take 5 years to replace it?
So it was September 10th, 2028 is what they had asked for. So, that it was 4 years or 3 years from that date. And so they had said that they needed to raise capital to be able to do it. They were in the middle of some bigger projects. I think they had just redone the parking lot, had plans to redo some roofs that were leaking. And so this was on their list, but they didn't have the capital to be able to do it, and figured that they needed that period of time to be able to raise the capital to be able to do it. And I know based on my last conversation with Anestis, they were having issues finding a contractor that works on concrete pools. I guess there's just not many of them out there at this point. And so maybe, they can talk about where they're at in that process, because I'm not too sure.
Yeah, so this is Bonnie again. We have a couple people coming out in the next couple of weeks, two different people that work with concrete pools. One is coming on May 28th, and then I think the other one's, I forget when the other one's coming. It's within the next week or so, to see what can be done to fix this issue, because short of digging up the whole pool, I don't know what they're gonna do.
So Christian Roman Ramirez, Chairman of the Board of Health, I have a question.
Yeah.
Regarding the timing, are you still requesting, until 2028 to get this situation fixed?
Yes.
Mm.
At least another couple of years, because we don't know how much it's gonna cost. Like I said, I just joined the board, so I'm trying to we just raised condo fees to help, gain some capital. So I'm hopeful we'll be able to, tackle this or that. I mean, the pool being one of them. The pool is a big thing at our place for the residents. So that, I think we should be able to get done well before 2028. We just, we need some time.
Because my concern is that by 2028 I mean, I would agree, but we have to vote as board, to, instead of 2028, to at least have it to 2027.
Okay.
Rick, what are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I mean, whatever the board thinks is reasonable and whatever the condo association thinks is feasible on their end. I mean, the shorter the timeline, the better, because then the pool comes into compliance. So if 2027 is the board's expectation and the condo association thinks that they can do that by then yeah, I would say you'll push that date forward.
I do have a question. Let's say, the fees are just so much that we can't, pay for it. Do you think like we'd have to fill in the pool in with like concrete or something?
I guess we'd approach that when we get there. I mean, typically you don't fill it in with concrete, you puncture it or remove it and fill it with dirt, just because concrete's
Okay.
expensive, but
Okay.
we'll cross that bridge if and when you get there, after you start to get some quotes.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
Any questions?
I do.
Yes.
So the main drain is so the pool can filter correctly?
So the main drain's the one at the bottom.
Right.
And so, yeah, I mean, it's, right now they just have skimmers, and so the skimmers are
Just top of it,
it's just top, yeah, so you're not really getting that bottom water column.
but stays clean enough as is.
Yeah, I mean, every time we've tested it, the water chemistry's come back right. They have a flow meter on the pool, and it's, turning over water how it should. So if you have people in the pool and they're kind of stirring it up, then, it should be taking care of it, but it's not, drawing water from the bottom of the pool to filter it.
I think that instead of 2028, we should move it to 2027. I think that from now to 27, country states would have enough time to either assess, get somebody to work on that, because, I'm just concerned that this is something that we've been dealing since last year, and we are on the summertime, so I will make a motion that the Board of Health would approve the agreement instead of 2028 for the date to be 2027, the due date to complete those works. Is that something that Country States is able to achieve by that time?
I think we can try to make it work for 2027. Yeah.
Okay. Can I get a motion?
Need the motion, you need a second.
You need a second.
Second the motion.
Second that motion.
Okay, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay.
And then, so just to continue with this, so one of the things that they're asking for within the next 2 weeks is an inspection of the pool to try to open it by Memorial Day. So with the agreement in place, I can sign on behalf of you guys, and then I'll figure out who's gonna sign on behalf of the condo association. You're okay with them opening as long as the rest of the inspection goes well?
A motion to delegate Rick to sign on the inspection on behalf of the Board of Health.
Second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay.
All right, Bonnie, so, do I have your contact information? I know Anestis emailed me, but I don't believe he gave me your information.
Are you Mike?
Rick.
Rick?
So-
Okay, no, he has not given me any sort of information.
Okay. Do you have a telephone number that I can reach you at?
Yep. It is. Wait, are you ready?
Yep.
978-996-4143.
I will, contact you tomorrow and figure out who would sign the agreement on behalf of the association. And I'll revise this document and get you over a copy to look at. And then,
Okay.
hopefully by the time, you get the pool inspection lined up with Colby from our office, we have met up and taken care of signatures on it.
Okay.
Anything else?
I think that was it.
Okay, thank you very much, Bonnie, in representation of Country States. Thank you.
Thank you.
On the agenda, 1.6, well repair proposal for landfill. Carla, if you can, for benefit for Todd. you can-
Sure. So we had, DEP came out to do a walkthrough on the landfills that have been closed in Townsend. They had questions about a landfill monitoring well that we had already been working with with Weston and Sampson, who is our contractor to do all the monitoring for the closed landfill. And they let us know that one of the wells, you couldn't get the sample in deep enough, so it needed to be repaired. And they presented a proposal. We sent it to town council. Town council has okayed it. It is $6,995. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have probably $2,000 to $2,500 in the end of year budget to cover this. And the remainder can come out of the capital landfill or the general revolving. So it can definitely be funded, and it needs to be done because the DEP needs to sign off on these inspections yearly, and they don't like it. So they said you could put a Band-Aid on it, and the board, when Jim was here, said absolutely not, I wanna fix it now. Let's just fix it now. So this is what you have before you. As I said, it has been reviewed by town council. And I do believe I have Todd's name on there, as well as Jim and Christian and the right Board of Selectmen members. So if it pleases the board, I'd like to get this signed so we could take this care of this fiscal year.
I submit a motion to approve this proposal, already presented to town council and had voted, previously, by the Board of Health.
So with the motion?
Yes.
Okay.
Can I get a,
Then I'll second that then.
all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Okay, so we have in front 3 copies. I would like all 3 copies because I want to keep one in my office, I want to keep one in the accountant's office, and I want to keep one in the selectman's office, just in case things go missing, that there is an original copy.
Yes, Steve. Yep.
We're missing one, right?
Um,
Yeah, we need one for you to EFC.
and it was because of Jim, but it's okay, I'll take two.
Okay,
I'll take two originals.
okay. Now let's go to 1.7 invoices.
Invoices we have for this session, we have Carla for April and May travel, which was $42.21. We have the Townsend Police Department for Earth Day, their detail for the Earth Day event in the amount of $260. We have Weston and Sampson for the landfill engineering for the work that they did, which helped us determine that we had the problem with the well for $2,903.77. We have Staples in the amount of $55.29 for office supplies. I believe that's toner. We have B&D Associates coming from the revolving fund for $95, which is our needle kiosk disposal. We have Amazon for landfill maintenance for $18.99, and I believe that is for a shovel and a sweeper for them to clean off the concrete pad. But I have all the documentation in here. We have Unitil Energy, which is our regular utility bill for electric, which is $211.30. We have AT&T, which is from the revolving account, which is my cell phone for the amount of $45.23. We have Uline, which is paid through a grant in the amount of $1,402.72. That's for all the fluorescent bulbs and batteries. So I found a great deal where you pay for, the packaging is already paid for. So that's why it's so much. And the recycling members have been diligent where we've been open every Saturday, making sure that all these bulbs are packaged and everything. And I just have to get the tracking number, which I hope to do tomorrow. And then I just make a call and they come down and pick them up. Oh, it's a great option because right now we are using a vendor for the electronics and they don't accept the batteries and fluorescent bulbs where our other electronic vendor did. So I think it's much more cost effective. And it seems to work really well with packaging and having them come to the facility because there's no way that I could lift any of those boxes. No less I can't fit the 8-foot fluorescent bulbs in my car to bring them here. So it's just, it makes it a lot more efficient just to have them go, schedule a time, I'll go down, I'll be there, they pick them up and they go. GW Shar and Son, solid waste, your monthly bill for $68,500. GW Shar and Son for revolving for the bulky furniture that we are disposing at the recycling center because we no longer have the grant with our new contract for $834.35. Sharon Polinsky and Frank Botta did not make Earth Day, so we are refunding their money at $35 a piece in the amount of $70. Carla has the last bit of her clothing allowance in the amount of $141.07. And Amazon has the other thing, one of them was the broom and the other is the shovel. So the way that we're doing it now, Todd, is we used to sign every single document here. But the accounting office said that they would rather have this, so we just keep this and then I make several copies because I need to keep these in the correct departments. But if you need to see any of the documentation, it's all behind that.
This new line, with,
That is the fluorescent bulb
Oh, okay.
and the pails for the batteries.
okay. Question about the cell phone. There was a situation that hasn't been resolved as of yet.
I don't know, I haven't received this month's bill.
We haven't received the month's bill, okay. 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 Hey, go Tyler, if you wanna go over. And then sign here or below wherever.
Just curious, do you have the refund?
It was, somebody was sick and somebody fell. So they paid $35 for the booth to go to Earth Day and they couldn't make it, so we refund their money. They had very valid reasons.
We don't have to trust you on that.
Okay, here you go, Carla.
Thank you very much.
Now we're gonna open the public hearing for the continuation of styrofoam reduction in Townsend.
Is that a motion?
This is 6:26 PM. I submit a motion to open the public hearing for continuation of styrofoam reduction in Townsend.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, Rick, if you can give us a synopsis, about it, so, and for our new, member, Mr. Arsenal.
So, the board had actually originally started looking at these regs in, before COVID, actually. And Andrew Shepherd was kind of the one that presented them to the board. He was interested in trying to kind of remove styrofoam from the waste stream, just because there's no good way to get rid of it. It lasts forever. It's just not great. So, he had got this reg from another city or town, and then the board started looking over it. COVID happened and it went away. And then a resident came back to Carla fairly recently and asked if we could kind of start taking a look at it again. So town council reviewed it. I think you've got a copy. That's the red comments on here that they had suggested we make. And so we kind of came up with a document that, would eliminate use of styrofoam for takeout containers, also for places like Hannaford's or Family Dollar that sell styrofoam plates, styrofoam cups. It just wasn't going to be allowed in town anymore. And then the most recent conversation started getting into alternative materials and what would be acceptable for takeout containers and what we wanted to see. And that really wasn't the original intent of the regulations. It was more just to ban styrofoam. And so, you know, the board continued the hearing at the last meeting, and that's kind of where it ended. And you know, I think that the discussion where it's going to go has to be, you know, is the intent of the board to create a set of regulations that ban styrofoam in town, or is the intent of the board to write a set of regulations that asks places to use a particular material, and the discussion was recyclable or compostable at you know, the restaurants that use them. And so that would really be like a completely different set of regulations, and we'd have to kind of start from scratch on that. And so, you know, whenever you do pick the discussion back up, because I think you're not going to discuss it too much tonight. It should be, do we want to continue to move forward with this set of regulations, and then talk about the possibility of creating a set of regulations regarding the use of compostable and recyclable materials for takeout containers, or do you want to just scrap this and start fresh and try to create something that might address both?
May I interject from?
Yes, go ahead.
Sally Coyburn, Bakery Hill. So Irene has kind of coached me a little bit on this. Of course, I'm, you know, resident of the town. I don't have a lot of experience with the things that Irene does. She wasn't able to be here tonight. But she said the heart of it was basically to eliminate the polystyrene.
Yeah.
And she gave me some documents supporting why that's dangerous for us to have in our town. It's dangerous for people to, and I do have some supporting documents if you need some references or anything. But it's dangerous for people to take home and reheat and things like that. So, and it breaks down over many, many, many years. And it leaches into our water systems and it's really kind of a hazard. So I guess the heart of it, like you say, was to ban it. We talked last time, or you talked last time about alternatives. Irene said that's not really the spirit of this at this point. Alternatives would be basically, as a recycling committee, we need to educate everybody. And okay, so if you do have, we talked about the black plastics weren't really recyclable. Well, they're reusable, right? So we can give education to people to reuse those products. And then more education on what is recyclable, what is compostable. But basically in her coaching, she said, basically we want to do what we initially went after was to just eliminate the styrofoam in restaurant takeout containers and, within the town. I think the exception was non-prepared foods, like, Hannaford has
Yeah.
meat, in styrofoam, that they sell, but that's not prepared food. And, eventually, of course, that would be eliminated, but this isn't what this is about. And that's just,
Yeah, so it's still allow like the cup of noodles in the styrofoam container and things that they buy that are just, packaged that way.
Would you like some time, Todd, to absorb this? Do you feel comfortable making any decisions tonight?
Well, the only thing I would say is I agree with the styrofoam. I'm okay with that. And I think we should probably start with the styrofoam and not go any further than styrofoam right off the bat. As far as bans.
So you're in agreement for the banning of the styrofoam then?
If it's been on the table it's been on the table for a while, we
Mhm.
never tried to be, and I think people do want it. And I would have to say, I would be okay with that if
So,
just the styrofoam.
so can we vote tonight on the regulations then for banning styrofoam from the town of Townsend with the exceptions of what it's done in Hannaford's that comes frozen and things like that?
You're gonna wanna pass this through Leo Council again as
Okay.
well. So if you voted to close the hearing, vote on it, then it would go to town council.
So, I submit a motion to,
We did.
Okay.
I submit a motion on approving the regulations per any further recommendations from legal counsel for the banning of styrofoam in the town of Townsend.
I will second that.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay,
And then one of the things that because you can still do it outside of the hearing. The hearing's really for public discussion, is talk about an effective date. Because obviously you want to be able to get it out to the different restaurants and retailers so that they have the opportunity to sell off their inventory and figure out what they do want to use.
I thought we had talked about January next year.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
think
that-
January that'll be a good time. They'll give the people 6 months to adjust and to.
Yes, you didn't want it to start until January 1st.
Okay, very well. So we will continue with that effective date then, 2026. Okay. I submit a motion.
Do you wanna do 2026? Cause that's a year from now, or do you wanna do, you do wanna do
Yeah,
2026?
January 2026, yeah.
Okay,
Okay. I submit a motion. Is any other comments? Anybody in the internet, in the Zoom meeting wish to comment? Okay, I submit a motion on closing the styrofoam, a public hearing for the styrofoam reduction in Townsend at 6:34 PM.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay. We jump to 1.10, the tobacco fees from the town of Townsend Recycling Center have been moved for our next meeting on the 5/27. As well as the residential trash discussion at 5:27. And GW Shaws and Son contract proposal move for 5:27. Regarding the trash contract, the people that were in the town hall, at North Middlesex Regional High School town hall meeting, last week, the Board of Health had presented a proposal based on the emergency hearing that we had, the week before the meeting, proposing the select board and the town for a contract that included the recommended contract that the Board of Health had always approved and recommended to the select board. There was an issue because, just to give a synopsis, the Board of Health is proposing to either amend or increase the amount of the revolving account that managed to $800,000 in order for us to administer and manage the pay as you throw program, which would still include the payment, the sale of the trash bags, and pay a yearly fee of $125 yearly. And the finance committee had agreed to help with the contract, less than 200,000. I don't have the numbers right now in front of me, from stabilization to work on the implementation of this program, which won't count from the town's levy, to put it that way. I am proposing that we need to have another meeting with the public, and most likely have a joint meeting, if possible, with the finance committee next week. This is not an ordinary meeting. This is part of the emergency meeting for the trash contract, to get input from the community after the meeting, and possibly helping on writing up a warrant article for that. I am proposing to have this meeting with the community on, I don't know if my board, if Todd would be available, having this meeting on Thursday, May the 22nd at 6 o'clock here. I don't know, how's your agenda,
That's okay. Where's the date? I'm sorry, May what?
May
22nd.
May 22nd at 6 o'clock here at where the Board of Health meets.
It's okay.
Are you able to? So can we vote on having this meeting?
You don't have to,
No.
you're gonna set up a meeting.
So we're gonna set up a meeting, and we will want to have the joint meeting with the finance committee. Yes, it will be a joint meeting with the public and the finance committee.
Okay.
Because we want the public to have, if they have any more input about this. And I have to say publicly that trash is a matter that is related to the Board of Health. And it should not, as I said on that meeting, it should not have been taken away from the Board of Health. And this is a matter of the Board of Health, and the Board of Health will address this situation for the people of Townsend. This is not the Christian show or the Todd show or anybody's show. This is for the town of Townsend. And what we propose on that meeting, I think it's something very reasonable and not too much expensive as going private. So the public is invited for then May 22nd at 6 o'clock. And we are requesting a joint meeting with the FinCom, with Financial Committee then.
And let's hope they can make it.
Okay,
So, this would be a great time, Mr. Chairman, to introduce the summer schedule where Todd's here and talk about how you want to proceed with your meetings going forward, because our next meeting is the 27th, and then we typically meet on the second and the fourth Tuesdays at 6 p.m., but we don't know if that's okay with you, Todd.
Tuesday, well, so starting in September now. Tuesdays don't work. That's all.
Okay, do you want to take some time and mull over some dates, and we can deliberate about meeting agendas? It's not an open meeting law violation, just to discuss agendas, correct, Rick?
Yeah, you can talk about dates.
So the two of you can email, and the three of us actually can email and go over the dates, because if we're gonna set a schedule, it's really good, if we're gonna keep it this way until September, that's fine. But then going forward, once we set the schedule, we really wanna make sure that we keep it, that we don't do, oh, well, I gotta change it in the summer, I gotta change it every season, so.
And I was thinking probably, if on July we can go recess.
Well, let's all see what happens with the town meeting on the 18th, because we might be very busy in the month of July. Or at least I know I'm going to be.
Okay. Any other comments, concerns anything else?
Yeah, can we talk about the trust thing for a minute? Or no? Can we?
I wouldn't get too deep into it,
Okay.
but that's what Thursday will be for.
Right, but you've already proposed something.
Yes, we did, but for that meeting, the purpose is to get the feedback from the community about what happened on that meeting, and we already voted on a recommended trash contract and what was proposed on the town hall meeting as well. We just want to get the FinCom with us to at least, my plan is to have a document that we can sign together as Board of Health, and as FinCom, to have it in writing that we are committed to the proposal, which they have verbally had said that they've been in approval with that. But I just wanted to have it in writing and have any deliberations about that, because you can say a lot of things through closed doors, but I think that if we have a document written that we can show the people and even the select board, because right now the Board of Selectmen can enter and according to the bylaws, talks about if contracts of over $5,000 has to be signed together, the Board of Health and the Select Board. So, and since this is a trash contract, the Board of Selectmen cannot go without the without the Board of Health's blessing or approval. That's how it is, and the people can search on the bylaws about that. So, we can further talk about that, on that meeting. But do you have any specific questions about that, Todd?
I'm okay for now.
Okay,
Yeah.
very good, okay. So right now, our next, we will have, one more thing, we need to come up with a date, with a joint meeting with the select board to talk about the solid waste general revolving.
That's what we're gonna do at 7:15, they're gonna make that, you're gonna have that discussion up there where you're gonna make the determination of when that meeting will be.
Yes, but the only thing that I had requested them that we were not gonna talk about this in that joint meeting.
I don't think they're gonna discuss it, I think they're gonna discuss a time on when you're going to discuss it.
Okay.
I don't think there's gonna be any discussion other than when are we all gonna get together.
Okay, fair enough, okay. So we're gonna recess our meeting.
Motion to recess?
Can I submit a motion to recess until 7:15 PM? So that we can continue our meeting at the Board of Selectmen's chambers.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye. Aye, recess at 6.
Hang on one second. Rick, can we, and I'm sorry if you don't know the answer to this, But now that the situation with the agenda has changed, we were gonna come back down and do reappointment of officers, which are, we're not. Should we make a motion here that after the joint meeting with the selectmen that we will adjourn? Or should we do it up there with the
Yeah,
selectmen?
you'll be able to close up there.
Close up there.
Yeah, so just
Okay.
take a vote to close the meeting.
Okay, so that way we won't have to come back down.
So we recess at 6:45 PM. Thank you.